Of question answers at the print. Today we discuss RBI's Section 7. We have seen a lot of controversy coming up in the last few days. There has been a tough battle between the RBI and the government, and it all started with Dr. Viral Acharya, the Deputy Governor of RBI, making some scathing attack on the government. We have about 10 to 15 minutes. Do send in your questions. We'll be happy to answer them. And in the meantime, let me just explain a bit of what has happened in the last few days and what the problem is all about. On Friday, Dr. Acharya, in a speech in Mumbai, made some major statements saying that undermining RBI's autonomy, RBI's independence is going to be extremely fatal and detrimental to the country's economy and growth. In fact, he even compared Argentina in certain manner with India's Reserve Bank of India's government. Naturally, the government has not taken it too kindly. Mr. Jaitley, the finance minister, made a statement on Saturday saying that it was because of RBI that, somewhat this kind of a problem on NPA has come up. The RBI has not managed to identify the problem at the correct time and has not managed to take the required action. Now, what is Section 7? Section 7 under the RBI Act allows the government to take decisions and to direct the RBI in certain matters which are of public interest. Now, this is done only with the consultation of the RBI. There are rumors also. A lot of people within the RBI and the government have said that the government has been issuing instructions to the central bank, to the Reserve Bank of India on certain matters, especially in reference to lending pattern on the MSMEs, on liquidity with regards to NBFC, and even the central bank, the government has demanded easing of certain measures that the RBI had taken in the form of PCA, prompt corrective action, on the banks which were not doing too well. Now, obviously, we have a battle between the RBI and the government. This is nothing new. We have seen this kind of a tough battle in the past. We have seen this now. But what is worrying is, though there have been problems earlier, there have been tensions between the RBI and the government even in the past, there has never been any talk of invoking Section 7, which is in a way undermining the autonomy of the RBI. In the morning, we also saw reports that maybe Urjit Patel, the RBI governor, may step down in, as tensions mounted between RBI and the government. Now, we have a question from Bhumika. Are the RBI's guidelines on NPAs really stringent, or do we need such measures to rein in defaulters? Now, there are two sides to the story. RBI is absolutely clear that very, very stringent action needs to be taken to ensure that the problem of NPA does not escalate any further. We have already seen our banks, which have always done well in the past, are buckling under pressure of the NPA. Now, RBI has come up with very, very stringent norms, and especially in February, the February 12th guideline that the RBI came out with was extremely stringent. It said in case a borrower failed to repay or failed to pay within 180 days, the entire process of resolution will have to be started all over again. Now, this naturally has put a lot of pressure on MSMEs, the small companies, the small firms, and also the power sector. Now, the power producers have also gone to court. The Allahabad court in August had taken up the case, and it was actually the Allahabad court which came up with this idea that in case there's a problem, the government can also look at the option of invoking Section 7, which essentially means that that the government can directly instruct the central bank, the RBI, to to do certain things as per what the government demands. Naturally, it is undermining the autonomy of the Reserve Bank. Now, the problem also started with Viral Acharya coming out extremely in harsh manner against the government and saying that such kind of a move is going to be extremely, extremely unfortunate and detrimental. We have another question from Kunal. Did Viral Acharya's speech provoke the invocation of Section 7? Actually, Kunal, it's just the other way around. People are saying that because of the government taking certain actions, certain initiatives, sending a few letters to the RBI, asking the RBI to act in a particular manner, has prompted the Deputy Governor, prompted Dr. Acharya to say what he said on Friday. And it was, obviously, it wouldn't have been possible to come up with that kind of a statement without Dr. Patel's knowledge. Urjit Patel must have been in the know of things, and from time to time we've seen even Urjit Patel showing his, he hasn't been too happy with the way the government has functioned. In February, Jaitley came up with a statement saying that, you know, it was the PNB chaos, the PNB fraud was also partly due to the RBI's inability to take correct action at the correct time. Urjit Patel wasted no time, and he came back very heavily on the government and said that it was not RBI's doing. In fact, RBI's hands are tied, and it does not have certain powers, and underlined the need to provide full autonomy, full independence to the central bank to be able to work in a fashion which is going to basically be beneficial and good for the country. Now, we have to see what kind of, what is going to be the result in the next few days. We do not know as yet. I mean, things are, you know, the RBI and the government both are working to come to a sort of a consensus. We saw a statement from the Finance Ministry around 1 o'clock, which said that, you know, autonomy of RBI is critical, and the government will do its best to ensure that the RBI's autonomy or independence is not hampered with. We have another question. Is there any threat to RBI autonomy? Now, while the government has said there is no threat to RBI's autonomy, we saw a statement which was issued by the Finance Ministry in the afternoon. The RBI officials, the RBI senior officials, we've seen Dr. Viral Acharya, Dr. Patel, all saying that the government is attempting to undermine RBI's autonomy, RBI's independence, and is constantly interfering with the way the RBI has been functioning. We've also seen the Swadeshi Jagran Manch, which has come out very strongly against Dr. Patel. It has said that there is nothing called independence of the RBI. RBI has to work in tandem with the government, in sync with the government. Finally, the RBI is not answerable to the people of India. The government is, and the RBI's independence is nothing but just a farce, and the government should not come up with such statements and should not give full autonomy and full power to RBI. The other problem that we saw is on the Section 7 of the RBI Act. Now, nobody for sure knows whether the government has actually invoked, whether this section has been invoked or not. RBI officials have said that there is no official word on this as yet, and with this statement that the Finance Ministry has issued today, the RBI officials are hoping that the government will not come up with any further directive, and Section 7 will not be invoked. So this is it from us right now. This is Mohua Venkatesh signing off for ThePrint. We had another question. Okay, we have another question. Don't you think that the government is well within its right to use any section of the RBI Act if there isn't, if the section wasn't to be used, why is it there? Now, that's an interesting question. The section which allows RBI, the government to sort of take away the powers from RBI, undermine RBI's autonomy, it has been there, but at the same time, until now, no government, no finance minister or prime minister has ever exercised that those rights. The section has never been invoked. We've seen crisis period in India, the 1991 emergency, the crisis situation. Then we have seen 2008 when the global crisis happened, but never has it happened that there have been talks between the government and the RBI to invoke Section 7. Of course, the government is well within its right technically to invoke this section, but RBI's autonomy and RBI's independence is for us sacrosanct. Let's not forget, RBI is one of the most respected, one of the most credible central banks in the world. And we all, the government, the stakeholders, the banks, they all appreciate the fact that RBI has done a wonderful job in monitoring the banks as such. But of course, the problem has also started with RBI's February 12th circular, which is extremely stringent, and many banks under the PCA, the Prompt Corrective Action, the banks have been curtailed in carrying out their normal business in lending, and this has also created a bit of a problem. So this is it from us right now. Signing off, this is Mahua Venkatesh for The Print.